Have you ever felt like your mornings are robbing you of potential success? You hit snooze repeatedly, struggling through the early hours. But what if your chronotype, the genetic pattern influencing your sleep timing, isn't actually fixed? Research shows that 89% of self-described night owls can shift their wake times by 2 hours within just 10 days. Imagine unlocking this biological secret, similar to what Jeff Bezos discovered. This explains why he refuses to schedule meetings before 10 a.m. Not because he sleeps in, but because he dedicates those morning hours to what he calls high IQ activities when his brain operates at peak efficiency. The question is, what are you using your morning brain power for? Have you ever wondered why Tim Cook wakes up at 3:45 a.m. while you struggle to function before your second cup of coffee? The answer might be hiding in your brain. Scientists have discovered that our brains aren't just different in terms of preferences. They're actually structurally and functionally distinct, depending on whether we're early birds or night owls. Brain scans reveal something fascinating about morning people. Their brains reach peak excitability around 9 a.m., creating the perfect window for focus, decision-making, and complex thinking. This pattern explains why Apple's CEO Tim Cook claims his most productive hours are between 4 to 7 a.m. While most of us are still wrapped in our dreams, his prefrontal cortex, the brain's command center for executive functions, is already firing at maximum capacity. The differences don't stop with mental capabilities. Researchers at the University of Alberta discovered that morning people maintain consistent physical strength throughout the day. It's as if their bodies come online at full power and stay there. Night owls, however, follow a completely different pattern. Their physical strength actually increases as the day progresses, reaching their peak performance hours after morning types have already started winding down. What makes this even more interesting is how brain excitability patterns mirror these physical differences. Evening people's brains don't reach their performance peak until around 9 p.m., a full 12 hours after morning types hit their stride. When night owls claim they think better at night, they're not making excuses. Their neural activity patterns prove they're right. But here's where the science gets even more intriguing. Brain imaging studies show that night owls have more gray matter in their precuneus, an area of the brain linked to social behavior and interaction styles. This structural difference might explain why evening types often display different patterns of thinking and socializing compared to morning people. The precuneus findings also shed light on personality differences between chronotypes. Research suggests that lower volumes of gray matter in this region correlate with traits like empathy and cooperation, characteristics commonly associated with morning types. Meanwhile, night owls tend to score higher on measures of creativity and openness to new experiences, while morning people typically rate higher on conscientiousness and self-discipline. Morning types also gain an advantage from superior brain connectivity in regions related to maintaining consciousness and attention. This enhanced neural wiring translates to better performance and reduced sleepiness during those early hours when many of us struggle to keep our eyes open. For night owls, these same attention networks may not function optimally during standard 9 to 5 hours, creating real challenges for productivity. The real question isn't whether you're naturally a morning or night person. It's whether your current schedule aligns with your brain's optimal functioning time. This misalignment can lead to decreased performance, increased fatigue, and persistent feelings of working against your natural rhythm. When your daily routine forces your brain to operate during its biological off hours, you're essentially trying to run sophisticated software on minimal processing power. Even if your brain's wiring is optimized for nighttime activity, there's another biological advantage at play each morning that affects everyone. Your body produces a natural productivity booster during those first waking hours that most successful leaders deliberately harness. This isn't about willpower or discipline, it's pure biology. What's happening is a process called the cortisol awakening response. Your body naturally floods your system with cortisol between 6 to 8 a.m., creating a window of heightened alertness, energy, and focus. This hormonal surge works like your body's built-in turbo boost, priming your brain for its most complex thinking tasks of the day. Disney CEO Bob Iger recognizes this biological advantage and wakes up at 4:30 a.m. specifically to capitalize on it. He uses these quiet pre-dawn hours for what he calls blue sky thinking, tackling creative problems and strategic decisions without the usual distractions that fill executive schedules. By the time most people are just reaching for their first cup of coffee, Iger has already completed his most important cognitive work of the day. But there's another fascinating factor at work beyond the cortisol boost. Your brain's decision-making quality naturally deteriorates throughout the day due to a phenomenon researchers call decision fatigue. Each choice you make, no matter how small, gradually depletes your mental resources like drawing down a battery. This effect is so powerful that when researchers studied judges' parole decisions, they found something shocking. Judges were 65% more likely to grant parole in the morning than in the afternoon. Same cases, same judges, dramatically different outcomes. These were highly trained legal experts making life-altering rulings that varied dramatically based simply on the time of day. This scientific insight directly informs the strategies of global leaders. Legendary investor Warren Buffett schedules his most important investment decisions exclusively during morning hours. When you're potentially moving billions of dollars, you want your brain operating at maximum capacity, not running on mental fumes. Former President Obama took a different approach to this same biological reality. Rather than scheduling his most critical decisions for morning hours, he eliminated unnecessary decisions from his routine entirely. By wearing only gray or blue suits throughout his presidency, he preserved his limited decision-making energy for matters of national importance. "I don't want to make decisions about what I'm eating or wearing," he explained, "because I have too many other decisions to make." Those precious first hours after waking, when your cortisol levels naturally prime your brain for peak performance, often go unused for their intended purpose. Think about your own morning routine. Are you using that golden window when your decision-making ability is at its absolute peak for your most important work? Or are you spending it on breakfast choices and social media? Imagine waking up to the chaos of endless notifications pulling you in 20 directions, versus the focused calm of a leader who's already won their first victory of the day. Those social media alerts might be costing you more than just time. There's a psychological principle called behavioral momentum that successful leaders harness each morning, creating a domino effect of accomplishment that the average person completely misses. When Howard Schultz exercises at 4:30 a.m. while traveling internationally, he's not just staying fit, he's activating a powerful brain response that most people never trigger. Why would the Starbucks CEO be so obsessive about his morning workout that he maintains it even with jet lag? The answer lies in understanding what happens in your brain during those first morning activities. It's about winning what psychologists call the first battle of the day. This isn't motivational fluff. When you complete a challenging task first thing in the morning, your brain releases dopamine, the neurochemical responsible for motivation and reward. Like setting the first domino that knocks over all others, this small win creates a positive feedback loop that increases your drive to accomplish subsequent tasks. Each victory literally changes your brain chemistry, setting up a cascade effect that influences your entire day. Former U.S. Navy SEAL Admiral William McRaven understood this when he famously advocated for making your bed immediately after waking up. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg starts his day by checking key metrics, strategically engineering an early win. Both leaders are harnessing the same power of early accomplishment, activating the brain's reward pathways that make you significantly more likely to maintain productivity throughout the day. Just as a small spark can ignite a fire, that first achievement fuels your entire day. The dopamine released makes you more likely to start the next task and the next one after that, creating behavioral momentum that carries you forward. What's particularly fascinating is how accessible this principle is. You don't need to be running a billion-dollar company to benefit from it. The key is identifying a meaningful challenge you can complete within minutes of waking up. Something difficult enough to trigger that dopamine response, but achievable enough to ensure success. For some people, it might be exercise meditation or tackling their most difficult work task. For others, it could be something as simple as making their bed perfectly or completing a short puzzle. The specific activity matters less than ensuring it represents a genuine accomplishment for you personally. What small task will you conquer tomorrow morning? Identify one challenge you can overcome immediately after waking up. The science is clear. That first morning victory creates a neurochemical cascade that significantly improves your motivation and follow-through for the entire day. Your morning doesn't have to be a losing battle. You can rewire your night owl tendencies. Research shows 89% of night owls shift their wake times by up to 2 hours in just 10 days, with consistent light exposure and gradual adjustments. The secret isn't copying Tim Cook's or Bob Iger's routines. It's about creating a morning ritual that aligns with your brain's natural patterns while adding positive habits that set your day up for success. Experts recommend small, 15 to 30-minute wake time adjustments, plus meaningful activities that give you a sense of accomplishment. Just as it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit, though it can range from 18 to 254 days, each morning becomes a building block in your transformation. Ready to begin? Tomorrow, wake up just 15 minutes earlier. Complete one meaningful task before checking your phone. And watch how this simple change transforms your productivity and well-being. If you liked this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to discover the same brain strategies used by top performers, science-backed mental hacks, and exercises that boost your brain power. Don't just watch others succeed. Train your brain to join them.